Claire is a young girl in her early 20s, with an open heart and deep compassion. Her job at the nursing home is not an easy one, but Claire has always felt love and passion for it. She is not simply a caregiver but also a friend, a daughter to the elderly. Every day, Claire went to work with a smile on her face, whether it was early in the morning or late at night. She always tries to create happy and warm moments for the elderly, who live alone and have little opportunity to feel attention from society. Although she loves her job deep down, Claire still can't help but feel anxious every time she looks into the sad eyes of the elderly. Holidays, especially New Year's Eve, are the moments where Claire feels their loneliness most clearly. The elderly in the nursing home often sit quietly, looking out the window, when everyone around them gathers with their families, welcoming the new year. Claire felt that sadness sink deep into her heart. She wishes to be able to do something to help the elderly not feel forgotten, so that they can also experience joy and warmth like other families. One day, when she saw an old lady sitting alone by a window at the end of the year, Claire decided that she could not let them spend New Year's Eve in solitude like every year. She began planning a special party. Despite her limited budget and limited preparation time, Claire constantly calls for help from her friends and those around her. She seeks food donations, decorates spaces, and organizes fun activities. Even though she was tired, she never stopped smiling. In her heart, the image of happy old people, singing and dancing on New Year's Eve, has become a great motivation for her to continue her efforts. Feelings of excitement and anxiety were intertwined as the party was about to be held, but it was also those moments that made Claire realize that her small actions could make a big difference. She believes that tonight will be an unforgettable night, not only for the elderly but also for herself, because it is the first time she feels that she is doing something truly meaningful in this life. Although Claire was full of determination, she couldn't help but feel worried about the possibility of success of this plan. The work at the nursing home took up most of her time and energy, and organizing a big party for the elderly was even more challenging. Claire didn't have much experience in organizing events, and her finances were also very limited. She has to take care of everything from food and drinks to decorating the space herself, all pouring into a single night. In addition, she also faced suspicion from some friends, who thought that organizing such a party would be too expensive and impractical, especially when they were used to the stillness of everyday life. Some people even advised Claire to focus on her work instead of creating a grand event, because they thought they would not be able to understand or be healthy enough to participate in a party full of excitement. The lack of time and resources made Claire feel even more pressured. Every time she thinks of the elderly, she imagines lonely old people, with no one around, only the dim lights of the nursing home illuminating the tired faces. Her heart ached. She feared that if she didn't do anything, they would spend another night alone again, while she couldn't help enough to change anything. But just as that fear almost faltered her, Claire remembered the smiles of the old men when she took some time to talk or help them on weekdays. The desire to bring joy and warmth to them is a strong motivation for Claire to continue. However, the contradiction still clung to her. Between the worry about the success of the party and the desire to bring real joy to the elderly who had lived in loneliness for too long. Despite her anxiety and pressure, Claire decided not to let fear get in her way. She began to plan the party in detail. Every day after work, she spends all her time doing preparatory work. Claire reached out to close friends and colleagues, urging them to donate food, decorations, and small gifts to them. She also sought volunteers who were willing to help, as she knew that she would not be able to do everything alone. Claire's friends, even though they were busy with their own lives, agreed to help her. Each person contributes a small part, from buying food, preparing music, to decorating the banquet hall. Claire kept a close eye on everything. She wanted every detail to be perfect, from choosing their favorite food, simple but meaningful confectionery, to decorating the dining tables with fresh flowers and twinkling lights. She arranged the elderly to sit in groups so that they could chat and interact with each other, creating an intimate and cozy atmosphere. She also prepared a music performance, with joyful songs so that the elderly could sing, dance, and even play games together. For Claire, each step of preparation is an indispensable part of bringing complete joy to the elderly. As the day of the party approached, Claire's mood became even more nervous. She didn't know if they would embrace the event, and if her efforts would be enough to make them feel loved and no longer lonely on New Year's Eve. But when she looked at the bright eyes of an old woman when she handed her a bouquet of fresh flowers, or when the old men and women began to laugh and talk to each other, Claire felt the joy pervading the air. That feeling gave her strength, helped her believe that what she was doing was right, and there was nothing better than seeing the joy on the faces of the elderly she loved. The New Year's party begins in the evening, when the sunset has just gone out and the cold air of winter begins to fill the space. When they entered the banquet hall, they were all surprised by the change in the room. Sparkling light bulbs are hung along the walls, and fresh flowers are arranged on the dining tables, creating a warm and colorful space. Claire stood at the door, greeting each of them. Her eyes lit up when she saw the joy in their eyes. Everyone expressed their appreciation and surprise at Claire's thoughtfulness. As soon as the party started, the elderly quickly immersed themselves in the happy atmosphere. Traditional delicious dishes are served, from plates of bonchang tacos to snacks such as salads, fruits, and desserts that Claire has prepared. The atmosphere became lively when the elderly began to chat, telling stories about the old times. There are stories about ancient Tet holidays, about New Year's Eve celebrations in the family full of laughter. Their stories are like a mirror that reflects lives that have gone through many ups and downs, but they all smile and feel warm when someone listens. The music began to sound. The familiar melodies of Tet songs made the atmosphere more exciting. An old lady who had not stepped on stage for a long time suddenly picked up the microphone and began to sing the song Spring. The rest of the old people clapped and cheered, and others also took turns participating in the singing performance. Claire couldn't help but smile as she saw the old men dancing, hand in hand, while cheerful laughter echoed throughout the room. Spring songs are sung. Each note seems to blend into the festive atmosphere, dissolving all the sadness and loneliness that the elderly can feel throughout the year. As the party came to a climax, an old man, whom Claire had always noticed because of his quiet appearance, suddenly spoke up. He slowly approached her, his eyes shining in the twinkling lights. "Thank you, Claire. This is the first time in 10 years that I feel that I am not forgotten." Those sincere words made Claire unable to suppress her emotions. She could only smile and hug him, feeling the warmth and joy spreading in the space. This year's New Year's Eve is not only a party, but also an opportunity for everyone in the nursing home to feel the joy and love that they have lacked for many years. The party continued until late at night, when everyone was tired but still did not want to end. Music, laughter, and stories still echo in space. Claire looked at the faces of each of them, felt the joy in their eyes, and her heart was full of happiness. She knew that she had done something meaningful, not just a simple party, but a connection between lonely hearts, a truly complete and memorable New Year's Eve. When the clock strikes the last moments of the old year, the atmosphere in the party room becomes quiet and full of anticipation. The light from the twinkling lights shone on the radiant faces, while soft music still sounded from the speakers. Claire stood by the window, looking at the night sky, where the specks of fireworks began to bloom, drawing brilliant curves in the air. She couldn't help but feel emotional when she thought about everything she had done during the past time to bring this joy to the elderly. She clearly felt the warmth of New Year's Eve, not only from the lights, but also from the smiles and fists of the old people. Inside the room, the sound of fireworks out there was like a sign of a new year starting. They looked up, their eyes full of expectation and hope. Claire, standing in the middle of the crowd, felt her heart beat harder. It was the moment she had been waiting for. The moment for everyone to feel connected, loved, and not alone in this life. An old man, who had not spoken much during the party, walked up to Claire. He slowly, with a gentle smile, said to her, "Thank you, Claire. This is the first time in 10 years that I feel that I am not forgotten. Thank you for giving us such a great night." His simple but profound words made Claire choke. She looked into his eyes, where there was a little sparkle, and felt the emotion in every word. It was sincerity, a small joy that she could not imagine could bring him. Claire hugged the old man. Tears began to fall down her cheeks. Feelings of happiness and choking mingled in her heart. This is not just a party, not just a New Year's Eve, but a meaningful moment, marking a small change in the lives of these seniors. Tonight they no longer feel left behind, no longer feel like forgotten people. When fireworks burst into the sky, illuminating a corner of the night sky, the air in the room became warmer than ever. Every old man and woman looks up at the sky, where the rays of light bloom, as a blessing for a new year full of hope. Claire looked at it all, feeling the happiness intact in each of these moments. She knew that, on this New Year's Eve, she had brought precious memories to the elderly, and most of all, she had helped them feel the love that they had been missing for a long time. New Year's Eve gradually passed, but the joy and warmth in the room did not diminish. Everyone was still standing together, telling funny stories, singing spring songs, and even participating in the little games that Claire had prepared. The laughter sounded like flickering flames, warming everyone's hearts. The elderly, no matter how many years have passed, are now like young again, living in a happy and vibrant moment. Claire kept looking at everyone, her eyes sparkling with happiness. She knew that even though this party lasted only one night, it would be a memory that they would carry with them for the rest of their lives. As the party drew to a close, Claire stood in the corner of the room, smiling at the old men and women, some talking, some dancing, and some simply sitting silently, their eyes shining brightly looking up at the sky through the window. She felt that she had done something great. With all her dedication and love, she created a space, one night, where none of them felt forgotten. And for Claire, it was the most precious gift she could give them. When the clock strikes 12 o'clock at night, everyone counts down together, and when the new year comes, the fireworks are lit up in the sky again, and everyone raises a toast. Claire stood in the middle of the room, hand in hand with a few old ladies and old men, their eyes full of appreciation. She thanked herself, thanked those who helped her, and thanked the old men who taught her that joy doesn't always come from big things, but sometimes even a little care, a small action, can change a whole day. Lifetime. When the party was over and the old men gradually returned to their rooms, Claire stepped out into the courtyard, taking a long breath of the cool spring night air. She raised her head and looked at the twinkling stars in the sky, feeling at peace in her heart. She knew that this new year she had done something meaningful, and the memories of this New Year's Eve would forever be etched in her heart, as well as in the hearts of her grandparents. That is the true joy that she finds in her work. Not just a simple care job, but a connection, love and sharing between people and hearts. And since that day, every New Year's Eve, the nursing home has become a place full of joy and warmth, where the elderly never have to feel lonely or forgotten. Claire continued her work, but in her heart she always carried with her a strong belief that, with a heart, all great things could become possible.